You're listening to the State Street Midweek Update. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the State Street Midweek Update, and we are glad to have you here. My name is Nate Loucks, and I am the pastor of State Street Community Church and the president and CEO of the Pax Center. And we take this time each week to kind of go over a little bit of what's happening at the church and at the Pax Center and all the other things that we do in the community, and then talk a little bit about what's happened in the past week and what's going to happen in the future week, and just to kind of keep our community, whether it's in person or online community, kind of in the know and what's happening. So really glad that you've joined us. Glad that you're streaming with us, and we hope to have a good time together. Before we go any further, let me introduce to you my wonderful, maybe, incomparable even, co-host, Miss Becky Crain. How are you, Beck?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm doing well.
Good day. Beautiful days out.
Yeah, I'm a little tired today, being honest, but we're gonna make it. So anyway, so what's new with your life? Anything?
Got my daughter back to college, so that's good. We survived, traveling cross country and back, and
you didn't get the COVID while you were gone?
It does not appear that I did. No.
You never can be sure, though.
I know. I mean, I can be sure I didn't have it when I left because I had to be tested in order to travel. But
how was the test?
Oh, it's no big deal.
Okay, so the stories I've heard where they put the Q-tip in your nose and they touch your brain. Yeah, that's not what it felt like.
No, I mean, it was so quick. I've heard that it depends where you go, how bad it is. I went to one of the government locations, and I did not think it was bad at all. It was not a big deal.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
Yeah,
that's good to know. Same here. Nothing. We didn't get our kid back to college. We don't have one that's old, but we do have their back to school, and we're all just trying to. I think everyone's just tired in my house right now. Just new rhythms, new life, and so all just kind of trying to survive a little bit.
Amen to that.
Yeah,
I've been tired all week.
Yeah, same here. I'm just kind of worn out a little bit, but anyway, it's a good week though. So before we go any further, we do want to wish everyone a happy birthday and anniversary. And if you're on this list, it's because we have your information. If we don't say your name, or if we don't wish you a happy birthday or anniversary, it's not because we don't mean it. We do. We just don't have the information with us. So let's do birthdays first. We got about 8 of them, I think, here. First goes out to Ashley Nelson. Happy birthday, Ashley.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to Megan Surma. Hey, kiddo pie. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to Miss Kathy Clays this coming week, our very own preschool director. We love Miss Kathy. Happy birthday to Krista Musa. We love you, Krista. Happy birthday.
I miss you.
Yeah. Happy birthday to Nolan Picardo.
Happy birthday.
Nolan is, Nolan is brothers to your best friend, Rita.
Nolan's a cutie. He's a good kid.
Yeah. Happy birthday to Bria Carlson. Happy birthday to Jordan Zapala. And happy birthday to Jazz Conlon. So all those birthdays are coming up this week. We hope you guys have a great day. Happy birthday to you. We're grateful for you. We pray for a great year for you. And we thank God that you're alive. And then these 2 anniversaries, September 1st. So just, 2 days ago, Rick and Kathy Jesse, happy anniversary to you.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, way to go. Good job. And Annette and Tim McFarland, happy anniversary to you guys, too. So to those that are on our list, happy anniversary. Happy birthday. We love you guys and we appreciate you. All right, our question of the week this week, and please do participate in the comments. I'm interested to know this question. What was your first job? What was your first job? Now, in my family, we had to work pretty young because it was part of my dad's kind of thing. My dad owned a concrete company in a couple other places, so we were able to work very young for him. I don't know if this is the case, but I remember specifically saying, I think it's illegal to work this young. And he said, it's not if it's a family business. Now, that's probably true. I don't know. But I remember thinking that a couple times. I shouldn't have to work when I'm this young. But Becky Crain, what was your first job?
I mean, if you don't count babysitting, because I did babysit a lot, starting young. But my actual, go into a place and have a first job was at a bookstore in Michigan City. It was a Christian bookstore, and I worked a couple days after school each week, and every once a month on Saturday. And fun fact, Jason worked with me there. We worked together.
Jason Clemens, our Pax Center director. We have a couple of comments coming in. Miss Trista Todd, those of you that are just listening to audio, Miss Trista Todd said LaPorte Movie Theater. I used to go to the LaPorte Movie Theater. Miss Kathy Clays, who has a birthday coming up here. Paper Route, and then Dairy Queen with her love, Mr. Roger, Raji Dodgy.
Love Dairy Queen.
Yeah. Anyway, my first job was working for my dad and my grandfather. So when we were 11 or 12. So this was just a once a week thing where all day for about 8 hours. I know it was 8 hours because I got paid $27 to do it. I was paid $3 an hour to mow and work on my grandpa's farm. He lived in Galena Township. But then I got a job, I think when I was 13, working at, my dad used to own this rental center by Sowers in LaPorte, and I worked there for a year. And then at 14, I worked for concrete for every summer past that for a couple of years. But I didn't. The first job I had that was not working for my family was working at Albano's Pizza in LaPorte. And I worked there with a bunch of my friends, a bunch of youth group friends, and a couple of people that come here. Shannon Hannon worked there.
I heard you had a fun time working there.
It was a great time, actually. We had a great time, and it was people often say or ask, what can kids do? And I think it's a legitimate question. I wonder that as well. What can teenagers do? But one of the things it did for us is on Friday night or a Saturday night, or typically a Friday night, but we just all work together, and then we'd hang out afterwards. And we just make it fun. So. Slinging pizzas was my first job. So, which ironically, my son Harrison will tell you that's what he wants to do when he grows up, is work at Albano's. So
there's something to be said for community in food service. I worked a lot of food service over the years, and there is something special about that community.
It's funny you say that. I was meeting with someone yesterday or 2 days ago, Beck, and they work in the food service industry, and I probably put my foot in my mouth a little bit and said, and they're younger, but I said, so what is it? What is it? Where do you see your life going? Do you want to do this? And they were saying that they're very happy doing that. And, I thought, my question could have been construed as something as if it's not a good or fulfilling job. Right. It absolutely is. And I would even argue an important job, because, most people I know have a limited amount of money, and when they go out to eat, especially at a sit-down place where you have maybe a server or something, having good food and good service can be the highlight of a day or maybe even a week. Mm-hmm. And I think, especially in chaotic times and hard times, having little bits of joy, whether it's a good meal or a good drink or a good service, is a big deal. So. But I enjoyed working in food service. Honestly, I really did. I didn't mind it. All right, volunteer appreciation. This is a new segment we have here where somebody either at the Pax Center or the gardens or the green space or the preschool or the church, we pick out, Becky and I will each have one, where we pick out somebody to appreciate for their work and their time spent or their energy that they've spent either this week or somewhat recently. And so I'm going to ask you to go first, Beck. Do you have anybody that you want to appreciate right now and be grateful for?
When you told me we were doing this, it's so hard because we have so many great volunteers. So how do you just pick one?
Yeah, but we got 52 weeks. We're going to get through a lot in the next 52 weeks.
Well, I decided that I was going to find a loophole.
No, you cannot. Don't even be like, oh, I'm just grateful for everyone.
No, I'm not that bad. Not that
That's
bad.
dumb.
But I am going to lump together. I'm going to say that I'm thankful for the Redinger family today. So I found a little loophole there because
I'll let that go. Judges say that's fine.
Judges say that.
Explain.
For those that don't know, Megan and Wes's dad John are all part of our worship team, and usually they're all scheduled together. And I just think it's so cool. I mean, especially last month we were down several. Volunteers. It's just that season where we just have who we have and we make it work. And there was one Sunday where all three of them, it was like the Redinger family reunion there, and they're just such great attitudes and a joy to work with on top of insane talent, so I just appreciate them. And
who would you say? So you've got John Redinger, you have Megan Redinger, and you have Weston Redinger.
Correct.
Who would you say is your favorite? Go.
I'm going to pick Megan.
All right. I think the guys would understand that. No, they're a great family, and we are grateful for them. For mine, I'm going to pick, and again, we have many dozens we can pick. It takes so many people to do what we do, and all of the Pax Center and the church and everything we do, and like you said, it's hard to pick just one, but I'm going to, this week, I'm grateful for one of our Pax Center volunteers who's there every week on Wednesdays with us, Ashley Hart. Does a great job, works hard, always has a great attitude, always willing.
I almost said her. That.
Yeah, almost has, can always talk nerdy comic book and Star Wars things with me, which I'm always grateful for. Ashley, I think Becky and I and Jason and everyone here, but I think we're all very grateful for you, and the Redingers were very grateful for you as well. So, so each week we'll pick out somebody that we're especially grateful for, and hopefully throughout all year we'll make it through everyone. But last Sunday, Beck, what did we do? Oh, it was our last week of our series called Feed Theology, and we talked about pain and suffering. What did you think of the weekend? Was it okay? Was it good? I mean, it's okay to say it didn't really. Sometimes, not all cylinders fire at all weekends.
I thought it was good.
I thought it was fine.
Mm-hmm.
Did you think it was good or fine? Go ahead.
I thought it was wonderful.
Did you really?
I did.
I thought it was okay, but I mean, I wouldn't go wonderful. It has to. You have to really impress me for wonderful, but.
Well, I am a glass half full type of gal.
You very much are, but it was nice, here at State Street. If you're not familiar with us, we're at 209 State Street here in LaPorte, but we. Because of COVID-19, we've got all kinds of different things happening here at church that are different than our normal rhythms. And it's hard for everyone, but we are doing our best. And, we have socially distanced sanctuary, and, a lot of our other services, or a lot of our other programs during Sunday morning aren't operating right now. We only have a very limited children's ministry. And so a lot of our church is still streaming online, which is great. It's fine. But it was good to see a decent amount of people. Not nearly, it was about a third of what our regular attendance is, but we've been even less than that typically. But it was nice to see some people we haven't seen in a while. So that was good.
And some new faces.
What's that?
And some new faces, which is always fun.
Yeah, and if you're new, introduce yourself. We'd love to know you. We'd love to get to know you a little bit more. But on the sermon, I talked about, does pain and sorrow push you away from God, or does it draw you closer? What about you, Beck? Does rough times, does it typically push you away from God, or does it draw you closer?
I don't think it's one answer. I think it
Okay.
depends. I think in the end it tends to draw me closer because when I'm upset about stuff, when I'm feeling pain, I'm like I read, I search for answers, which sometimes is bad and it makes it worse, but sometimes it just leads me into just some new information that inevitably God reveals himself. And so sometimes I can get hurt or upset or just, disillusioned with life in general. But that tends to always, I don't know, it just tends to, in the long run, even if it takes the long path, it draws me closer to God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think you're the same. And we talked about that a little bit on Sunday. I don't know if it's always the same for me. There are seasons. Now, I typically, through pain and suffering, I do ultimately, I think, have a new understanding of God after. But it's not, and sometimes that doesn't happen until I fight and claw my way through it.
Mm-hmm.
And push away and then pull closer to and all that. But and many of us are going through seasons like that, right? And one of the things I think is important is to let people know that if you're having one of those seasons where you're in pain or it is suffering, and maybe this could be years, it's okay. And that sometimes these answers or this comfort or this peace that sometimes we desire in life doesn't happen right away, and it could take a while to get there. And we don't often talk about the value and the virtue of perseverance in anything, but especially I think in matters of faith. And one of the things we talk about here is living in the tension of the in between, and that could be in between of doubt and faith, or in between of pushing God away and pulling him closer, or, all kinds of different things. But it's okay to live in the tension of that. What's that?
We do all those things because there are days when I'm like, nope.
Yep.
But then there are other days where I don't know, you're able to find hope and find, I don't know, sacred spaces that draw you back. And I don't know, it's good stuff.
Yeah, and I've learned that the best thing to do, if possible, some days it's hard enough to just get your shoes on, I'm sure, but the best thing to do is, there's the old idiom, like fake it until you make it. In a certain sense, you just keep on going, right? You keep on doing, and you keep on, you keep on working for justice, as we talked about. You keep on praying. You keep on reminding yourself of the upside down nature of the kingdom of God, that God is close to the mourners. God is close to those who are broken. God is close to those who are downtrodden. God is close to those who are on the outside and marginalized and oppressed. And even when you don't feel it, to remind ourselves of it is, I think, an important part of that. And I think it's been my experience anyway, is you fight through it and you get to that point again where you're contented, comforted. But it can take a while.
Well, I think it's interesting that you use the words "you fight through it," because I think sometimes we think that it's just automatically going to be, it's just things are going to be fine. They're going to work its way out. And sometimes we have to work for it. And it's a lot, it's hard work, and sometimes we don't want to do that hard work because we're tired.
Yeah. But, and it's hard when you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, right? When you're just getting up every day and going, how long, right? But isn't that one of the most guttural, but almost often prayers in the Psalms is how long, God, how long am I going to have to deal with this? How long am I going to be sad? How long am I going to be frustrated? How long am I going to be depressed? How long am I going to, so I think it's safe to say that. It's safe to wonder that. It's safe to cry out with that. And it's good and right and holy to do so. This coming week, we have a new series starting called Uncommon Love, and I'll read you the promo for it. Uncommon Love is a 4-week series looking at different aspects of God's love for us using the imagery of Scripture. First, we'll talk about the love God shows us as our Father. then as the love toward the bride of Christ, the church, then the friendship love we have with Christ, and finally, the nearly indescribable divine love of God. So at State Street Community Church, we're going to talk about love, but a love that knows no bounds, a love that transcends all barriers, a love that reaches out and pulls in. So excited about starting that series this coming week. At the Pax Center, we're continuing to, our food pantries are open Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Our community meals are open Monday and Wednesday. But I did want to say that we will be closed this coming Monday for Labor Day at the Pax Center. So if you're expecting to come on Monday for lunch for Labor Day, we will be closed there to give our volunteers a break, but we will reopen then the following day. And our next program will be on Wednesday at lunch for the food pantry. Our Brighton Street Green Space, we have a work day coming up here this Saturday at 9 o'clock in the morning over at Brighton Street. If you can help, show up with a shovel, and we could use, maybe 10, 12 people there. We only have, I think, 4 signed up, so if we can get some more people, that'd be great. And we're going to put in some drainage in the boxes then on Saturday. Hopefully within 4 or 5 hours, we'll have it all done. But if you can, let us know, and we'll put you on the list that you're showing up this Saturday at Brighton Street. And the preschool starts, I think, next week. So what day is it?
Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So we're very, very excited about the preschool starting back up. And Miss Kathy has, we've worked through all of our safety protocols, and I think the way we've got it, going is going to be safe, and we're going to mitigate as much risk as possible, and but we're going to have fun. So I think it's important and vital to continue to be safe and continue to do everything you can to be safe, but also to live as best as you can right now as well. And so I'm excited about getting the preschool going back again. All right, it's our last section of the day. We call it Show and Tell. If you've read anything or watched anything or learned anything good this week, or you listened to a podcast or on a book on tape or whatever, put it in the comments. Share it with the class. We'd love to read it. Maybe it's just an article in the news that you read that you like. Please just share it. We'd love to see it. We'd love to read it. I'll let you go first, Pastor Becky. What do you want to share with the class today?
I have 2 things, 2 different spectrums, kind of. One is a podcast series that I listened to last week called Nice White Parents. Actually, they dropped it on the Serial web podcast page, which Serial is like one of the, hugest, and that's not one of the biggest podcasts out there. It won a ton of awards, and so that's how I discovered it. But it basically is 5 episodes going through New York City school system, mm-hmm. and how it's still, even with the best intentions, sometimes it's segregated. Mm-hmm. And so, a lot of times as we talk about racial issues, it was just really an interesting series to go through and see some of the things that they've done that, have been successful, have not been successful, and how they've affected the communities of color. And it's just interesting, as sometimes you just don't even realize where racism is just built into the foundation of some of these institutions. And I thought it was well done. I learned a lot. And then the other thing is, I know I've talked to you, and I know I've said this before as far as the book Be the Bridge, and I was talking to you about it yesterday. But the Be the Bridge by Latasha Morrison is a whole thing. She's got an organization where she has groups and a website with lots of information, and I'm just hitting the tip of the iceberg on her website right now, just all kinds of resources. I joined her Facebook group where you have to be silent for 3 months before you can post anything, because you have to listen and learn, and you have to go through a series of things to read and their values before you can start speaking. And I think that's just, it's a good thing, because so often we just want to rush right in with our opinions. And like one of the articles that I read today in their their units that you have to follow is about centering. You know, we tend to center everything around ourselves and our viewpoint. And so it's learning to not do that, that maybe this story isn't about me, but maybe I can still learn something valuable here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's a great resource, Be the Bridge. And that's the whole website. If you look up the website, it links you to all kinds of resources. It's great.
Well, thanks for sharing. Mine that I want to share with people is I've been listening to who is a worship leader, author, thinker. He puts these things out every maybe 6 months to 12 months called A New Liturgy. And he just has his 8th one out now. And it's on the Lord's Prayer. And I'll see if I can share it here with everyone.
Aaron Nyquist? Is that what you said?
Aaron Nyquist, yep.
Okay, you cut out like you were kind of, so when you said the name, I didn't hear the name. So
yeah, I did put the link here in the podcast notes or in the comments. But it's an Aaron Nyquist, A New Liturgy project, and it's just been a nice. I like listening to it. I think it's only about a half hour, maybe a little longer, but and it's just a guided kind of examine through the Lord's Prayer and just kind of thoughtful, reflective, worshipful kind of thing. And I've really enjoyed that the last week. Also, entertainment-wise, anyway, we're almost done with Yellowstone, the 3rd season. I love Yellowstone so much. If you've not watched Yellowstone, you should. It's wonderful. You know why I love Yellowstone, Beck?
I don't, because I don't know what the show is. So
yeah, it's a Western.
All the time.
But yeah, I know I talk about it a lot. But here's I think why I've liked it so much. And I didn't get this until today, and I was listening to one of the actors talk, and he said, you know, to a certain extent, it's got some like Game of Thrones elements, and it doesn't in it's not the genre at all. But in that, like, I don't know if you ever watched Game of Thrones, but
I have not. No.
Okay, well, the Game of Thrones
I know the gist.
What was interesting about Game of Thrones, and I know it's controversial because it had nudity, all these kind of things, but one of the things that was very interesting about Game of Thrones was the characters on Game of Thrones weren't all good and weren't all bad. And you saw moral formation in there and this evolution or de-evolution of these characters. Sometimes you didn't know why they were like, you know, they're just mean. Why are they mean? And oftentimes, you know, 2 seasons later, the payoff would be they would explain what happened to this character 20 years ago that has made them so grizzled and, you know, and I love shows that do that make complicated characters, but that also show you why they're complicated and why, you know, because it can, what it does is, for instance, there's a character in Yellowstone that one of the sisters, her name's Beth, one of the meanest people I've ever seen in a show before. And I finally got the payoff in the 3rd season to why she's like this.
Don't tell me.
I won't. Oh, I'm not going to tell you. But it really flipped the show for me because this person that I've spent, you know, 25 episodes going, she's the meanest person I've ever seen in a TV show, right? To I feel really bad for her, you know, kind of thing. And so it's just good writing, good character development. I like that kind of stuff. So yeah, if you haven't watched Yellowstone, you should. It's a good show. So I've got nothing else. Beck, do you have any announcements? Anything we need to talk about?
Nope, that's all.
Nope. We got our class tonight at State Street. Yeah, we'll see you back online or in person Sunday morning at 8:30 or 10:30. If you want to come in person, it's 209 State Street. If not, we'll meet you online. All right. Have a great week. We love you guys. Bye-bye.